In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the weirdest and coolest biocular night vision devices for the first time on YouTube, and compare it to my trash tier Gen 2 tube. This is the Meopta Clara. Yeah, one of those offset biocular goggles with woman names. The design originally came from a French company called SFIM Industries. The patent was later bought by the also French Sapolon and a renowned Czech optics manufacturer called Meopta to be transformed into the GIGN issue TN2 and the Czech Army Clara, the subject of this video. Sadly, we're not going to talk about the TN2 today, but if you own one, contact me now and let me borrow it, please. The nod we're actually going to talk about, though, was specifically made for the needs of the Czech Army in the 90s, which explain all of its weird features I'll try to describe the best I can. Anyway, this device isn't mine, so special thanks to a certain individual that won't be named here. Thank you very much. You can usually find these surplused out or possibly stolen for right around 1700 to 1900 euros. So this is pretty much one of the mid-range options of the bioc night vision market, the high-end options being the original and new generation Lucys, Simrads, or pretty much any low-profile night vision goggles. It comes in a very big and heavy case with foam inserts that can house a couple AA's and the two main pouches, one that contains the Clara and the other that contains a big and bulky 4x magnifier. They usually come with special format 43mm XT4 tubes. Ranging from 1200 to 1400 FOM, this is a great entry-level option for military-grade Gen 2 tubes. They're good enough for any serious use, they just lack auto-gating, unlike all the other military-grade photonist tubes such as the XR5 or the Echo line. In any case, we're not here to talk about the tube. How does it feel to use the Clara? Well, weird. For someone that's really used to more traditional bioculars, the offset design is strange but definitely usable, especially for navigation and passive aiming. The real problem with this housing is the left image. It simply sucks, but before I go into it, there's a pretty cool feature about it. When you turn on the IR illuminator, a small red LED turns on in Zone 2. This could actually save your life in some situations, and I like it. There is another one that indicates that your battery is low, and that turns on for a split second when you turn off the device. But still, the image is blurrier, has a smaller field of view, and a shorter high relief that forces you to mount it really close to your face. I mean, not as close as my PNV 10T, but yeah, it's certainly not made to be used with safety glasses. Speaking of my 10T, let's continue this review comparing it to that beautiful and heavy piece of junk. Excluding any housing related quality differences for now, there is a particular increase in resolution and SNR with the photonist tube. Basically, you can see stuff better in very low light as well as in mixed lighting conditions. There are no noticeable differences in gain between the two tubes though. Now, speaking of the housing, the lenses are arguably better compared to the Russian Nod. There is a very minimal, if not non-existent, hooping effect around light sources. I don't know how it compares to American mil-spec glass, but that's probably a test I can do in the future. The field of view is around 51 degrees, so there is a small fisheye effect, but not as pronounced as the PNV, even though it's only 35 degrees. The housing is made from what seems to be a pretty weak plastic and weighs around 450 grams or 15.8 ounces, which means it's in the relatively light category. At least, it's not pano weight. My 1 pound counterweight is almost overkill. Like I said in the beginning, the 4x magnifier, which by the way has a daylight filter that barely works, is incredibly big and heavy, but works I guess. Now, one of the worst things about this unit, like a lot of weird biocular night observation devices, is the strange mounting interface. It is a proprietary mini rail system with a swiveling sort of lever with a magnet in the front of it. If you haven't guessed it already, this is in fact what turns on this fucking unit. which means that once it's mounted, it is constantly on. I think I don't have to explain why this is retarded. Thankfully, you can unscrew it, and we're currently creating a dovetail mount that successfully turns on the unit, because this is stupid. The skull crusher, on the other hand, is straight up trash. The plastic is really thin and will absolutely fracture on the sides because of a specific weak point. Like, I'm not joking, this happens to every fucking Clara skull crushers. Other than that, well, I guess it's usable. That concludes this chaotic review of this strange piece of night vision history. If you're trying to go full autistic and get the most effective device for the price range of the Clara, which is still budget by the way, you can absolutely get a Chinese housing and get a Photonis XD4 to go inside it. All this over-engineering and extra weight for another image that's super blurry and that's going to give you a headache in just about 10 minutes. I call that a waste. Now, if you think it's cool, I get you. It's a cool looking device with a neat history. I know that there is a monocular version of this device, but it's rare and kinda just scraps the main idea behind this design, while keeping this stupid mounting interface and switch. If you want me to review more weird night visions such as this one, donate to my Patreon, or just let me borrow your own device. I take great care of the stuff I use, well, except when it's mine. Goodbye.
Motherfucking peace. Fool slipping, let the bullets collide. Look at my trunk, motherfucker, it's a body inside. I'm at Teflon, screen to your head, infrared on your chest, bitch. Bullets get ejected, cause I'm the type of nigga that you label insane. Nightmare, I'm the player with the nuts that hang. You can step up, bitch, but I ain't swinging my fist. I got a Glock 10, nigga, taking care of my shit. Cause I'm taking my weapon and aiming and shooting and spraying the nigga when I'm in the tech. Bitch, I smack, and when I'm through with him, I hit him and leave they crane effect.